So what's up? It is February 1st, 2026. Yesterday I was doing the last day of the 3-day Time to Rise Summit given by Tony Robbins, a free event. And honestly, it was pretty spectacular. Like I came up with my own massive action plan, identified what things stood in the way before when I wanted to achieve the goal that I identified here and then took immediate action to get momentum. And so I woke up today with clarity about what I need to keep doing and some of those uncomfortable ones. But the prompts are pretty good. It's like, uh, identify the thing that you need to do and why it's so important to do it and be very specific. Timelines, everything. The second part of what's getting in the way and why. Why didn't it happen before? The third one was 2 to 3 things I can do right now that will give momentum. So he said you can settle with doing one small thing you can do right now, one big thing you can do over the course of some days or a week max. And then the fourth one, he called it I think like the giant. What's the hard thing I need to do? So that could be like, do you need to learn a new skill to be able to achieve this? Do you need to have a hard conversation with someone, break up with someone, start a new thing, so on and so forth? And that was really great. Uh, it's funny because I was talking with someone who's involved with my business, and I was so fired up, and he's like, "Man, like, are you manic?" Like, it's like, "What's going on?" And I actually feel sorry for people who think that if a person is inspired and fired up, especially during challenging times, that there's something wrong with them. Like the norm should be that in spite of adversity, we should be able to have a positive attitude. Um, Now his reference, of course, is like what he's seen as my baseline. And we've known each other for years. So he's seen me through my ups and downs of being a founder and, you know, my different moods. So there's also that part. But it really bothered me. But I had to ask myself, why does it bother me? It's not about him. It's about how we work as humans. It's like we take on these norms, these behaviors. It's like, for example, if you get into an argument with your significant other, sometimes just because this is the way that things are done, a person will pretend to stay mad with you. I experienced that in a previous relationship. One day I asked her, I said, "Are you actually still upset? Or are you just choosing to be mean?" And she's like, "Actually, I'm not upset anymore, but that's a behavior I learned from my mother when I was young, that she would essentially make my dad keep paying, eat shit for days to make him really feel that he did something wrong." And at least she became aware of it in that moment and actually tried to work on it. So I appreciate that. But it was just really fascinating and made me then evaluate like what are some things that I do just because that's the way things are done, and then start to kind of unpack my behaviors and habits that might be standing in the way of me living in the present moment. So yeah, that conversation with the person involved in my business made me think about that. It's like, wow, for this person, it is unusual to see a person fired up about solving a problem. Um, that instead, I suppose I should be like carrying the weight of the world and feeling down. But actually, all that is a clouding of judgment. All it does is lower my energy and miss the opportunity to do something, to think with clarity and be able to respond when life brings the solutions. The universe always responds to clear intention. So, in fact, by me being tuned into a different frequency and being uh, a part of this Tony Robbins. Uh, I still have
You
some of
know,
the replay going.
as I said, nobody showed me the paths and the
Yeah. So, anyways, by being tuned into that, ideas came to me, and because I was in an active state, I took action, and I got some pretty fast responses from those people that I reached out to. So imagine if I was low and feeling lethargic and sad, and then an idea came to me, I'm like, oh, okay, could work. At best, I'll write it down and maybe do it tomorrow, or it's Saturday, I'll leave it for Monday. Imagine then I did it that way. I reached out to that person, they're already busy and into the hustle of their week. So for me, this goes back to what I was saying yesterday in my day in the life of a CEO segment. You got to learn how to trust your own voice because, at least from my experience, guys, anytime that I started to rely more on cues from other people, that's when everything goes bad. Everything goes bad. Mm. Green tea with some fresh lemon. So I'm not trying to fix everything in my life at once. I have very specific things. Stepping to the identity of being a person who goes to the gym and who's fit. I made a new friend yesterday. Wonderful guy from some country in Africa. I forget which one, but very nice, very fit. I was like, okay, I want to step into the identity of being a fit person. We are the sum of the people that we hang around. So let me get more fit friends. And then we got into conversations about nutrition and how it's like, it's actually really simple. There are no shortcuts. It's going to take a long time, but I either deal with the short term discomfort of stepping into new habits, or I deal with the long term pain of being frustrated, ashamed, and mad at myself because I prioritize other things like the business or whatever over being healthy. And by the way, being fit pays dividends in business because people respond to your self discipline and you looking good and you feeling good and you having great energy and clear mind and being fast, sharp. So I'm pretty excited to get back into shape, but also enjoying this process of being very present in this process of taking back my sovereignty, taking back my control. So fitness is one of them. And then more outreach for sales, just doing higher volume every day until there's someone else in my business who can match me in terms of output and then exceed me. And then we can have sufficient cash flow to then start to build out a proper sales division. But we're not there yet, you know? So it's common that founders continue to be involved with sales, but the difference here is that we're building our sales playbook. So it's not like we're just getting lucky. We are actually having scripts and following the expert advice of people like Alex Hermosi who actually know what the fuck they're talking about, and they show you in practice. Practicing my language, Mandarin. I'm practicing every day. I'm listening to conversations in Mandarin. I'm listening to music. Um, I'm doing my app. Come March, I'm gonna up the intensity and join an institute. And some might be asking, "You're in Germany. What shouldn't you be taking German classes?" I'm immersed in German, and I've learned and mastered other languages, and I know that just by being here and me being a linguist, around the second or third year, it'll start to come to me. But right now, my priority is Mandarin because I'm catching up. I'm catching up. I started Mandarin 10 years ago, and for some reason for years was saying, "Yeah, I'm learning Mandarin." It's like, you are not actively learning and living it. So I decided that this is the year that I commit to living the language and not taking on new projects. So there's my language, investor first time meetings. Pretty excited about this one because I get feedback. I'm excited about the no's because if I get through 100 no's, at some point I get to a yes. And not just because, people are saying no, it's just every no, because I don't take it personal, I'm able to ask from a neutral place, okay, can you break it down to me why? What would need to be true? If I came back to you in 6 months, what would you need to see differently for it to be a yes? Take notes, go and implement it, right? Have that next pitch, that next meeting with the first time meeting for a new investor uh, improved. I've also reached out to experts to I'm really excited about this topic because the way that, you get mentors is not by saying, "Hey, I want you to be my mentor." Say, "Hey, I'd like your advice on something." Uh, and then you show them what you're working on. You ask them their advice. You get the advice. You get the advice. You go implement the advice, get results, come back to them. Hey, by the way, the advice that you gave me, here are the results that I got. I put my own spin on it, but here's what the outcome was. And they're like, okay. So this is a person who is worth my time. And then the relationship starts to build. And in the context of investors, this is brilliant because if you also match their thesis, their investment thesis, which of course I reach out to investors and analysts who match the thesis of, what our company's building, then at some point then you become investable. Maybe it takes 3 months, maybe it takes a year, maybe it takes 2 years. So it's also why I'm sharing my journey here on YouTube because I like that customers, investors, team members, our community, other entrepreneurs can, track from the moment that we started sharing, that I started sharing uh, here at the end of last year, be able to see from where we were to where we're going. So pretty excited. I have no idea where this channel will lead to. I'm doing it because it's also therapeutic for me, guys. Like it's so amazing actually. Like I saw the power of just being connected with people through this Tony Robbins Time to Rise summit. And I felt so understood. I was like, here are 100,000 people online right now that believe in something beyond what they can see, just like I do. They believe in something beyond what people in their environment are telling them is possible, just like I do. What if I'm right? What if I'm right? And I only need to be right once. So this is for anyone who just they 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 can't sleep at night because they're just captivated by this vision, by this dream. It won't let them rest. If that's you, you're in the right place. Let's fellowship. Let's build community together. This is about self-mastery more than anything. By mastering myself, I will be able to master how I navigate the outside world. I won't be able to master other people and things. I'm not sure. Maybe that's the next level of Candy Crush, some sensei type shit, but I don't walk around with that expectation. What I'm looking for is absolute expression of my gifts as a man in this world, to let my spirit speak. And to do that, I have to move my ego out of the way. I have to learn to surrender to the spirit business is a very spiritual thing. Money is a spiritual thing. It's very energetic. It's a tool. I, this human carnation manifestation, is a tool for the spirit to do work in this world. So who knows? I'm devoted to doing the things every day that I can, seeking out advisors to find out what I don't know and being able to either learn those skills or put in people and put people in positions of power that have those skills. And it's what Sam Altman, he asked to the CEO, founder of Dropbox. He said something like, "How do you even become the CEO that you need to be in each stage of your company?" And the guy said, "I asked myself a year from now, what will I have wished I learned?" So for me, that's uh, I can sum it up to three things within the context of business. That's going to be financial modeling. We have a fractional CFO. There are tons of resources out there. I've done financial modeling. I've sat down with investment analysts from big banks like Banco Sabadell, their venture capital arm. They built out financial models with me for our previous startup. I know the mechanics of it, but I want to be able to, at every moment, have a clear overview of where the business is, understand CAPEX, OPEX, the P&L really well, understand our unit economics down to a T, understand the levers that change scenarios, what makes a good scenario become a pessimistic one, an optimistic one. So that's one thing, and I have a solution for that, for learning that skill and practicing. The second one would be better managing people, but not managing them, manage up, uplift. And that doesn't mean just cheerleading. That means better selection of talent. That means better onboarding, developing better onboarding processes. That means being able to have the hard conversations and identify what's not working, if someone's in the right role or not. That means being able to say, hey, this is not the right place for you. We got to call it. I'm absolutely in love with this job. I love it more than I love my career as an artist. To me, being a CEO and a vision builder, a value creator, feels like my own form of athleticism. It's bigger than me. It's a strong enough of a purpose to live better. The third thing that I would be grateful that I've learned looking back a year from now would be within the aspect of sales, building, running, optimizing ads. With the new wave. So agentic AI enabled ads. That means advertisements, offers that have an agent data architecture able to speak with other agents that are in the background searching for offers for whoever or whatever is running that agent like protocol, because visual based marketing now becomes the secondary or tertiary criteria for whether or not your product or service is discoverable. So I want to get into that. Now, those are already three really big things, but even just putting myself on the path, having those three buckets, and just consuming as much as I can about that, a year from now, looking back, I'll be able to have the conversations with people to get results. So happy Sunday. I'm here. My little setup is mine. It's beautiful. I got my whiteboard, got my workspace, my little vaporizer. What do you call it? Thank you to everyone that supported me. Thank you to everyone that's doubted me. All of it has been very helpful in me refining myself. And I want to say one last thing about so-called haters, something that gets overlooked often, or anyone that tells you no, that rejects you. You're right and they're right. Them turning you down might actually be valid. It might be valid. What if they're right? You have two options. You can take that and actually don't miss the opportunity to carefully listen and take notes. Well, okay, so your answer is no. Can you talk me through why? Lead with curiosity, as one of my former haters used to say to me. Lead with curiosity. Okay, that's very interesting. Hmm. So you're saying that because of X, Y, and Z, it's a no for you. Fellas, that can be even with a woman. You shoot your shot, and she's like, no. If you're patient, it depends on if you want to actually improve your game, and you're not, you don't carry shame. She's like, no, cool. So I'm curious to know why. The first two, three, four, five reasons they say aren't the real ones. But if you just listen, shut your mouth. It's those answers after the really long pause and awkward silence where you get the real gold. Maybe it's that just physically, you're not their type. But if you're going after that type of woman and this type of woman has a certain profile and it matters to you to be with that type of woman, take notes. Is it that I'm out of shape? Or is it maybe a social thing? Like she has a certain identity, she dresses a certain way. Maybe it's time for me to level up my style, my attire, to consider how I'm being perceived by the outside world. So haters are not always wrong. In some ways, they're always right, but you have to be willing to strip out the emotional part and get right to the essence of what they're saying and figure out if you can incorporate that to improve yourself because by God, that is free education. And if it's wrong, if it's total bullshit, then that's also okay. You've only just then refined your skill for detecting bullshit. So I'm sharing these things all from a place of experience. I used to be a very defensive person, very combative. Sometimes I was right, but even if I was right, There there are things you don't need to say everything. There's power in just being able to, "Ooh." If you see that someone can't match your energy, you don't need to go there with them. So, what's up, everybody? It was February 1st, something like 4:30 in the afternoon. It was quite a challenge to get here today on live, but I got here. I spent the morning instead working on some what's needed admin tasks and it's like creative stuff. And I took a nap because I served my body for society. Please take a rest. Today I wanted to make sure I started the month off here in the gym. Uh, Today is technically a rest day, but rest doesn't mean that I don't need to either. It's still doing some mobility and cardio, like stretching, and then I would be in the sun. So yeah, uh, this upcoming week is going to be an interesting one for different reasons. Uh, my goal is to just walk into it with a clear mind, steady hands, put the mind, put the ear, put the heart, and see where that takes us. So, no one ever said that it was going to be easy. In fact, your brand never interview is very hard. It's hard. Most people just don't even do it. They don't even dare get started. So that's it, guys. So I will see you online with the baby cells live stream. And then again tomorrow. We're just taking this one day at a time. It's going to be a very, very, very long road if we're fortunate, right? And I'm just excited to get through these no's, every customer, every user, every investor, because there's hidden wisdom in it, free education. So if you know anyone, this might be helpful. So a founder, someone building such an ambitious and creative project, share this with them. And be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, sharing my journey. Take care, you all. Many blessings to you.